Good morning. It is time for Tina Book Tuesday, and this is a bonus video. I'm calling it technically episode 70 because I've pre-recorded some of my other episodes, but what has happened with the Harry and Meghan interview and how all of you responded in my reader group is just amazing. So I wanted to talk about and respond to some of the comments that have come in. So I've got my tea ready. And this calls for English breakfast tea. So I hope you have something to drink and a few minutes to chat with me. You're still going to get my other regularly scheduled video that I had planned for this week prior to this interview. But so I hope you comment on that one as well as this one. But I just noticed there were a lot of you who watched the interview of Harry and Meghan when they were interviewed by Oprah, and many of you who commented. So kind of wanted to weigh in on this a little bit more because I basically gave you all a heart if you just responded. I like it when we can have open engagement and people can just freely express their own opinions. I think that's very healthy and is something we encourage in America. So I just wanted to say, and I want to mention this comment. My heart breaks for them. We know this is only one side, but the emotional damage is done. We don't know what goes on behind the fairy tale walls of royalty. That's pretty much where I'm at with a lot of the interview, but I have so many mixed emotions. But I agree with that statement very much. And then this one, I wanted to mention several of the comments mention his mother, Prince Harry's mother, Princess Diana. And I think many of us feel a connection to her. You know, I grew up and, I think I was 12 or 13 when she married Prince Charles. And I remember it was like 6 o'clock in the morning, or I think I was awake at 5 a.m. to watch that interview. I know where I was when I went, to watch that royal wedding. I know where I was when it happened. So many of us feel a connection to Prince Harry and Prince William and the Queen because of that. And so we feel like we have a vested interest in this, and also that England and the monarchy itself is, it's our mother country. To put that into some perspective. So I think all of us also from that perspective, we have a vested interest in, many of us who follow the royals, we are acutely aware of the fact that there is a growing movement of people that are against the monarchy. So, this interview is in many ways attacking the monarchy and the institution. And because of that, many people feel that the interview, even though Harry and Meghan were very careful to not attack the Queen personally, because this is an institution that she's the head of, many viewers feel like this interview attacked them, the Queen, personally, because she is the head of that institution and the family that is helping her with it. So there are raw feelings that way for especially many in Britain. But even here in America, there seems to be this feeling like, we don't sympathize with you because we're in a pandemic and many of us have lost our jobs and our livelihoods. And one of the comments that was that she comes across as a bit of a whiner, because we're in a pandemic and people have died and lost their jobs and their livelihoods, and you're complaining because of a racist remark, and I get that too. That doesn't sit well with me either. While at the same time, I understand they were just expressing themselves. And many say, why are they speaking out? Here's a comment: if they want to be left alone, And I agree that clearly they do seem to want to be in the media, but when it suits them, and that just doesn't go over well with people. Another comment pointed out was to be suicidal and not get help, to be told your child won't receive the same benefits as other members in the royal family, and to have the color of the child's skin commented on, shame on the firm. And I totally get that and sympathize with that, those thoughts that and things and emotions that Harry and Meghan have had to come through. I feel like these are issues that are going to have to be addressed, and clearly in the Queen's statement, she will address these issues and concerns with them, but she considers it a private family matter. And again, there's some comments. Many of you mentioned that they're kind of you live in a fishbowl when you join the royal family, and so it's sad that this had to come out in public like this, because these are, I think, family issues in general. And here's another one, says they respect them for being so candid, and I did like that. I mean, we were seeing things that we've some of it we've not heard before. And here's another comment, how this interview divulged more into the life of being a royal, and they were so glad that Harry took a stand to protect his family. I feel that too. I really think that these issues are going to have to be addressed. I'm glad that Harry took action. I'm sure it was an absolutely gut-wrenching time for them. And, I'm glad that they've talked about it and gotten it out, maybe in the open. I didn't expect it to come out in the media. But maybe now that they've expressed their feelings, they'll be on, and now that they've moved and taken action to have a new life, I'm hoping that they'll be able to go on and be happy. And I also hope that they'll be able to repair the damage with their family. Harry mentioned that that's what he would like to eventually happen. And I think that's a big question in people's mind is, can that happen? Can Harry and Meghan have this life over here, and can the royal family exist, and can they all get along and heal and move forward? And I do think it's something that's going to take time, but I do hope that it gets better, and I hope that it improves, because I care about all of them. Several comments point out how stressful this type of life is, and mention what Harry's mother went through, and again, the fishbowl lifestyle. And I agree, although I did find it hard to understand how Meghan didn't know what she was getting into. And I know many people didn't get that. But it must be, until you're living in it and going through what they go through, I'm sure it is a challenge that we can't quite comprehend. But it is, and most of us know from reading articles about them, that you're expected to be quiet, that you're expected to take a supportive role to the bloodborne royals if you're marrying into the family. And I'm sure that taking a back seat like this, you're not supposed to be really outspoken, you're not supposed to share your political views. I think that this is probably very challenging for an American like Meghan, who had a very outspoken relationship with the media and the press prior to her marriage. I'm sure that this was even harder for her to accept and transition to, and especially when they're attacking you. And I think that's made it even more complex. And that's what made her, I think, suicidal, which is just so sad. But also the timing of this interview, many of you commented on how, Harry's grandparents were in the hospital and playing the race card, and that it was just in poor taste. And I agreed with all of that as well. I didn't like that they were really choosing this time to do this, and with the Queen's husband in the hospital, how difficult this must be for her. And also just like spraying the whole family with, we're not going to tell you who said this, but it's like someone said it, and that's got to be hard. They all now, people are going to wonder, is the whole family like this or just one of them? And I'm sure there's an adjustment when for years and years, other than like Prince Charlotte, I think way back in the Regency era, there hasn't been a a, a black woman royal in the family. So I'm sure it's an adjustment for them, for all of them. So I can understand where some comments could have been made and people were still, getting used to the situation and adapting as a family. And clearly they didn't prepare well enough for it. Or maybe the queen didn't know exactly what they were going through because maybe the staff kept their problems from her. So I'm sure some of this was discussed with the queen, and maybe they just couldn't find a solution, obviously. And again, I think they should have called some type of deal with the press. Like, we will let you come and now that the renovations are done at Frogmore, we'll have you come to the garden and we'll show you some inside special edition photos of the baby, Archie, in exchange for some good press coverage. And I think that's what should have been done. And maybe they tried that and maybe the palace wouldn't allow it, or maybe they didn't think of this, or maybe like one of the other commenters said maybe they just didn't want to because it would be an invasion of their privacy. And again, that's sort of like them wanting to have their cake and eat it too. So all of that didn't sit well with me, that they didn't find a way to do damage control better. And I'm sure Meghan was expecting them to protect her, and I don't think they spoke out enough. And that, I'm sure, was damaging emotionally to Meghan. And I feel badly about that, and I feel like they didn't learn enough from what happened with Princess Diana to prepare for this one. But like any family, things go wrong. Things aren't perfect. The royals aren't perfect. No institution on earth is perfect. The church isn't perfect. If you go to church, or you have a relationship, or you have family, or you have a spouse and you're married, or you have a relationship with another person, you're always open to faults because we're human. So I just feel like we need to give the family a lot of space, time, pray for them. And, it is one of those, it was an amazing interview. I don't think we'll see anything like this again for a long time. But it would be really cool if the royal family could respond. And I don't think we're going to see much more than what we have, but I'd be interested to see if we do. But thanks for tuning in. I loved that you all commented, and I hope that my response has been a little thorough. I still didn't get to all of them, but thank you again for all that you do to help with my reader group and keeping it active. I love hearing from all of you. I hope you have a great day and drink some tea.